Good morning, LinkedIn world, YouTube world, and everybody else, even the Spotify and Apple podcast world. Okay, so continuing our discussion of intelligence type measurement, which we are basing our studies here in from the book Frames of Mind, published in 1983 by Harvard Institute psychologist Howard Gardner. I believe this is a kind of a holistic model in intelligence assessment, which we don't do in a typical STEM education or all these psychological modeling tests that we conduct are all bogus. They don't consider the different types of dimensions, the complexity of the human mind, and what it really contains. We haven't even understood the brain fully yet, let alone other things. Later on, I shall be tying into Vedic astrology, and I've given a hint there, as you can see. The planets which are responsible for this. Vedic astrology part comes later. Let me just give you in this one the introduction to visual intelligence. What is visual intelligence? It is the intelligence of imagination, spatial reasoning, and design thinking. Why visual wild learners are untapped innovators of the future. Some people think in words, some people think in sounds, but visually intelligent minds think in terms of imagery. They see the possibilities before they exist. They understand patterns without explanation and process the world through form, space, symmetry, color, and design. This is a brain which functions completely different, isn't it? And we are trying to process these brains by putting them in some corporate bullshit structure. Never mind. Back to this is visual intelligence. Visual intelligence includes spatial awareness, solving problems through spatial orientation, non-sequential reasoning, think divergently rather than linearly, think like planar rather than line. Visual acuity, making judgments based on aesthetics and design principles. Sort of, they have an eye for symmetry, they have an eye for details. Visual details. Imagination, seeing possibilities before the physical execution, something like Michelangelo. He saw the statue of David in a solid block of marble before there was anything else. You see the final product. That's a highly visually developed mind. We need to cultivate those. We need to check if our children have those, if our young people have those, and cultivate those rather than putting them as an accountant in some institute. Small motor coordination is also part of them, building, arranging, and creating and designing. I shall leave the full transcript in the LinkedIn newsletter if you want to share this. Students with strong visual intelligence seek visual stimulation, respond deeply to color, line, shape, and symmetry. They think in pictures rather than sentences. They retain memory through visual imagery, rearrange their environment to improve flow. They enjoy creating art, models, visual concepts. Even architects come out of this. They make fantastic architects if they have talent in this area. Grasp ideas faster when they can see them. They manipulate 3D structures mentally. This is a kind of intelligence. We don't recognize this very well in the current quote-unquote civilization. How to identify visual intelligence in children? Draw or doodle constantly. Encourage the children in classrooms, teachers, if you're listening to this. Build structures with blocks, clay, or objects. Notice shapes, patterns, and colors, which normal people overlook. Rearrange their room and belongings creatively. Understand puzzles, mazes, or maps intuitively. Imagine stories visually before they can articulate them. These are the exercises that you can do in the classroom. Now, in young adults, it appears sort of a little differently, you might say. Strong visualization skills in planning and strategy, ability to diagram complex concepts into simple visuals, something like brain mapping, mind mapping tools, for example. Preference for visual learning, mind maps, diagrams, and prototypes. There you are. Exceptional pattern recognition, sensitivity to design, layout, and aesthetics, creativity in product design, branding, architecture, UX, UI, video editing, and so on. ability to think in systems and structures, strong problem solving when they can visualize it. Everything has to do with visual for these young adults. These learners thrive in fields such as architecture, design, graphic, product, industrial, fashion, and so on. Engineering design, when it's required, specifically in civil engineering, I would think. Data visualization, UX, UI, film and photography and animation, urban planning, so important. Cities are just a congested mess these days. Creative technology. So, what should education systems do, you might ask? Okay. Education systems, obviously, it begins there. So, in the curriculum, you should, number one, include visually stimulating classrooms, color, shape, structure, diagrams, visual anchors that spark imagination. Number two, movement based spatial learning. Let students walk, rotate, build, interact. Teach them to dance, to get a little kinesthetic about it. Okay. Pre sketching before work, plans, doodles, concept sketches, visual minds need pre visualization. Number four, guided imagery exercises. Before teaching abstract ideas, ask students to imagine and describe them. Brainstorming with mind maps, manipulative tools, blocks, models, and prototypes. This needs to be encouraged. How much are we doing this in our curriculum? Honestly, leave your comment. Diagramming abstract concepts, math, science, history, literature, everything can be visualized, especially with tools like artificial intelligence. Now we have everything can be visualized to the last detail, isn't it? Visual performance assessments, poster design, visual storytelling, conceptual diagrams, technology that enhances visual learning, digital design tools, presentation tools, drawing tablets, and visual coding. So I'll leave this entire test on the LinkedIn newsletter for all those watching on my YouTube channel. If you're wondering what this is, we are trying to map the different types, 9 types of different intelligences that we humans have in various proportions. We might have all of them, but in different degrees, really. And we'll tie back later into Vedic astrology. And can we tell the type of intelligence a child has? That's why I stuck the picture of children there, beautiful kids. And how we can map them and put them in the right place where they can shine, not where they feel congested and contracted. That's not the whole idea anyway, which we are currently doing. We are putting them into tight boxes where they don't fit, and therefore there is unrest, therefore there is rebellion, therefore there is all kinds of hopeless things happening in terms of talent not being utilized properly. I'll see you in the next. Take care. Be safe.